screening, you secure the job. No matter your background, nobody can just throw you out of service. Due to the public sector. But the moment the institutions crashed, then it became something like to your Tenso Israel. Everyone to take care of himself.
Sorry,
I think that's where...
Let me come here again. The question I asked was, you talked about institutions crashing towards the tail end of the First Republic. But I asked the question, who talked? So those people that seemingly had the values then, is it that they lost it along the way? Yes, that's in summary, that is it. The moment, as a social animal, the moment your security is challenged, survival instinct takes preeminence. You enter the civil service, at 25 or 28, and you don't return to 60, you have almost 35 or 40 years ahead. But midway, barely 10 years in service, your career was ambushed.
You're retired on radio.
You're retired on radio. You are turned back to your village with nothing to take back home. Survival instinct took preeminence, and people started finding ways to take care of themselves, their siblings, their family people, their clan people. That was the entrance of the virus into our character system. And until we clean, until we clean this virus out of the system, it's going to remain a challenge.
Nice, huh?
Yeah, I think it's being conservative. But the point is that, like you rightly said, after the Civil War, that was when the whole thing, and then Murtala Mohammed took over. And that singular decision to sack, some civil servants really turned around. I remember Samuel Manuel. Yes, he was the first head of service. Brilliant, a genius. He was brought in from the UK and made the first head of service. He was on radio on his way to work.
That he heard that
he had been sacked. So Murtala Mohammed did a lot of damage to our civil service. The corruption started then. Because those that survived said to themselves, okay, there was no plan for retirement for those who were sacked. Me, I have to plan for my own retirement. So when you're now coming to the system to do one transaction or the other in the civil service, they first demand for their own. They say, this is not my father's job. Look at, all the directors, all the super PAMSECs and all that. They all lost their jobs. They gave them, it's not even a good exit, and they left without anything. And that was actually what informed what we are going through right now. It was there before that now, but it was more prominent after that decision by Murtala Mohammed to sack people without recourse to due process and consideration for what happens to the next generation. So after the next generation, started. But the Civil War did a lot to, really breaking down the value system. Before Murtala Mohammed families were in the survival mode. Those families, in the East, they said the Igbos used to be really, hardworking and all that. And people migrate, they imbibe new cultures from wherever they went. They bring it back. Culture is dynamic, and when your value system is not strong, when it's eroded, you're bound to actually begin to imbibe new ways and of doing things, whether good or bad. And then some families and all that are now encouraging their children. Don't you see this girl? She's gone to Italy to do one or two things, and you're here. The parents are now encouraging their children to do stuff that the children will.
Stuff.
So it's this poverty, and the leaders are taking advantage of the poverty of the poor to really ride a roughshod.
But Mr. Wenze, sometimes this argument, and when it starts, sometimes it doesn't end. Will poverty make of you a thief if you are not a thief? Will you steal because you are poor? In which case, every other man on the street in Nigeria should be a thief because there are more than 80 million poor people. But not all of them are stealing. They don't become thieves because they are poor. So what exactly is your point?
No, ma'am.
They're doing stuff because they're poor.
No, you see.
Do you have to do stuff because you're poor?
No.
If stuff is not in you and the values, the good values have been imbued in you, you will not do stuff no matter what your circumstances are.
No, because the point is that once the value system is eroded, you begin to do stuff. The thing is that you are hungry. You are hungry. You know? And how can a hungry man begin to do,
Do right.
Do right. You know, I had a debate with my students just the other day about a good leader is one that does the right thing. And I said, no.
Well, the right thing is relative.
Yeah, it's relative.
Subjective.
Yes. So it's not that they will not veer off or off tangent because they are human beings. But the point is that your value system, no matter what.
Mr. Adegbero, he said, how do you expect a hungry man to do right? I don't know. But isn't all hungry?
I think the point to look at is no society is really perfect. If there are challenges in the environment and there's a crash in values and people started doing things that were alien to the culture of the environment, that's where the question of leadership comes in. The leader is the arbiter. Everything centers around him to redirect society on the path of good relationship, good governance, and the right values. But where there is no right leader in place to do that, who is willing to make the sacrifices required, ignoring all the benefits under the carpet that may come to him as a leader, but working for the common good, then the virus can be deleted from the system. Take a look at Europe. There was a time the whole of Italy was run by the mafia. And when America was discovered, the mafia system was exported to the United States. They were running prostitution, they were running liquor, they were running gaming, mention it. Entertainment industry was controlled by the mafia. But because good leadership evolved in the new United States of America, they were able, through strong and powerful institutions, able to clean the system and restore America to what America really should be. So if a virus enters the system, it doesn't mean it should stay there forever.
Yes.
But so long as it persists damn too long, it's likely to start impacting other people who ordinarily are standby watchers and things like that. And that's what we are driving now, that look, to get our environment right, economy moving in the right direction, politics not of do or die, you need the right values to drive the right leadership.
So how do we get to that point where we begin to, to educate on the right values? Are we going to take it from the homes? Because someone will say, there's a school of thought that we mentioned the National Orientation Agency, forget it. So do we go back to the homes? Do we start from the schools? Do we start from our religious centers? Where do we start to begin to teach again and hope that it's imbibed?
It's a game plan for the larger society. If you count on numbers today, from Mr. President to the least local government councillor, they don't number up to 6,000. But we have more than 65 million voters, but less than 6,000 or 7,000 politicians controlling the system. That tells you a story immediately, that the larger society has greater responsibility to ensure that the right things are done. And you've already identified the structures.
Okay, so family. Okay. Go ahead. When we come back, we'll take a short break. We'll come back so that you begin from the structures now. How do we work the families to get what we need? We'll be back. Please stay with us.